this is Robyn and welcome to mypinkstamper.com. Today I have a quick card for you spotlighting the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set as well as the sunflowers dies. So we'll pop right in. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here with me today. You can find everything you see directly on my shopping page, shop.mypinkstamper.com. And I try to make it easy for you to recreate these projects. I have the item code as well as the description, and I also have the sizes on the screen for you today. So let's start with our stamping first. Let me set those aside. Okay, so we are going to be using a piece of our old olive cardstock. This is cut at 2 inches by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to grab our mini grid paper, set that aside so it's a little bit cleaner for you. And I'm going to be using old olive ink pad. Now I'm going to start with this leaf right here, and I'm just going to make my own background paper. That's one of the first things that got me hooked with stamping and Stampin' Up. I think it's been 22 years now, 22 and a half years, was that I could make my own background paper. And I used to be a huge scrapbooker. I'm not sure if you knew that about me. That's how I started stamping. I started with scrapbooking first. So from time to time, you'll also see me make traditional scrapbook pages on this YouTube channel and on my blog. Okay, so here I am, finished with that one right there. So I can set that aside. Now while I have the old olive ink out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp on this piece of basic white cardstock. This is cut at 1/2 inch by 3 inches, and I'm stamping the sentiment, "Thanks a bunch." I can always use thank you cards. So just stamp that on there. There we go. And then I can set aside my old olive ink pad. But I'm sure I have to get ink on my fingers first because that's tradition when you're stamping. And now I'm going to take a piece of our crushed curry cardstock. This is cut also at 2 inches by 5 1/4. And I'm going to take the very large sunflower from this stamp set, which is my favorite. I love sunflowers. I'm not sure if it's my favorite flower, but I just love the sunflower in this stamp set. Okay, so because it's such a large stamp, I like to ink those upside down just to make sure I'm not getting ink all on my block. So I'm going to just stamp a couple on here. Doesn't matter if they're upside down, right side up. And I just want to cover the whole thing, but I want to make sure that I'm stamping off of my paper as well. It gives it more of a seamless look, and it doesn't look as boxed in. Okay, I'm just going to do a little bit right here. Okay, there we go. And that is all of the stamping for this card. And for the second part of the card, we're going to be using the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I'm going to keep that out. We'll need that in just a minute. Okay, so let's start. We're going to need, I have a piece of crushed curry cardstock. Mine is cut at, this is just 1/2 of a sheet of cardstock because I know that I'll be able to fit both of the sunflowers on here. I'm going to be using the sunflower outline. And then I'm using the detail sunflower. I'm going to put that on here. And I'm just going to put the top on. And because this one is a little delicate, I'm going to go ahead and go forward. And then I'm going to come back and just cut it one more time. Okay, now I can just set that aside for now, and we'll take those pieces out in just a second. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put this piece of old olive cardstock, and now I'm introducing another color, soft suede. Now I have 2 different pieces here because for one of them, I am going to use, no, actually we might want to do that one. Let me do this one up here. We only need this circle part for this soft suede piece, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on first. Put that up kind of at the top, and that way I can still fit other dies on here. Now I'm going to use this button. I call it a button. It's not really a button. It's the center of the sunflower. And then I'm going to be cutting each of these 2 times, the one leaf and then one outline leaf. Now I'm not going to worry about going back and forth on this one because I just need the center of that. But I can do this if I want on the bottom part. There we go, just a little more on the leaf. Okay, now I am going to come right back. I'm going to do the leaf one more time. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and put my fingers in here and just take out the extra pieces. And you may want to leave some of them in. I know some of you like that look. It's up to what you want to design on your project. Okay, we're going to set this aside. Now for this one, I'm just going to grab my snips. And I am just cutting out that big centerpiece. So it doesn't even have to be perfect. You can just kind of go along with. So I have that. Looks kind of like, what is she making? I'm not quite sure. All right, set that aside for now. Now we're going to take our background paper and I'm going to grab just a quarter of one of our sponges. And I'm going to grab our multi-purpose glue. Okay, now I'm going to line this up the best. You want to make sure that you have it lined up before you add the glue. So I know it's going to go on here like this. So I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to add a little bit of glue directly onto my sponge like this. And then I'm just going to just sponge it on here like this. And then I can flip this over and I can just add this on, and it's okay if some of it sticks up a little bit. I think I got most of the glue on there. Just hold it down for a few seconds. And now I have that one is ready to go. I'm going to do the same thing with the leaves, but I want to make sure that I don't use the same part of my paper. And I should have enough glue on here just to do that a little bit. And I can add that on that leaf. Perfect. And it's just a fun little, I did a whole background, I think last year, a fun background with this technique on one of the video tutorials. If you want to kind of scroll back, you could see it, how to make a whole background of these. It's so fun. All right, so that is all I need to use that for. And it doesn't even matter if it's lined up perfectly. As you can tell, I'm just kind of putting it on there. All right, so let's put this card together. So we're going to take a piece of our thick basic white cardstock, and this is cut at 5.5 inches by 8.5, and I've already scored it at 4 1/4. And I used our paper trimmer for that, so I can have a nice and tight score. Okay, so now I'm going to take these two pieces that I've already stamped and cut. One's going to go on the top, and I'm just going to grab our Stampin' Seal adhesive. This is brand new in our annual catalog if you haven't tried it yet. Now I want to make sure that I have about an 1/8 border on the top and on both sides. And I'm going to do the same thing. This one should just line up if I cut it correctly. I should be able to just, but if not, it's okay. I'm going to turn it upside down. And I want to make sure I'm going to cover the center part, so it doesn't really matter if there's a little line. Okay, so it looks like this, and I'm going to take the Coordinating Designer Series paper. I'll have the name of this on the screen. This is cut at 1 inch by 5 1/4, and this is just going to go from side to side, and it's just going to cover up the center right there. And now we're going to take our sunflower. I'm just going to add 3 glue dots on here, and I'm going to put that on there. And now I'm going to take one of our Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to pop this up, the middle part. Just pop it right up there. There we go. And now I'm going to take the 2 leaves, and I am going to put a glue dot at the base of the front. So the bottom of the front, I'm putting 1 glue dot, and I'll put one on the other one as well. And that way I can just put these right on the leaves, or the sunflower, so they're just kind of sticking out. And just a little bit like that. Now I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to add our Stampin' Dimensionals. So it's nice and huge element on this card. Anybody would be happy to get this in the mail from you, or with a plate of cookies delivered to your neighbors or to my house. I love cookies. I love any treat, actually. If you're making them, I will take whatever. I'm very easy with that. Okay, so I'm going to add that on there. And then now for this one, and this is going to go across here. I'm just going to go ahead and put one dimensional so it is the same level as my sunflower. And then I'm going to just take the adhesive and then run that across there. Did I take the top off, the bottom off? No. And then here is our quick thanks a bunch card. And I hope you enjoyed today's video tutorial. You can find me, more of my video tutorials, weekly giveaway, and projects and classes over on my website, mypinkstamper.com. If you like what you saw, please give me a thumbs up, and I'd love to hear what you thought about this card. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon. Bye.